Good afternoon, it's Miss G. This afternoon I have Eleanor Goulding Smith's great big messy book. Richly and profusely, lavishly, very carefully too, illustrated by also beautifully by who? Me? Dedicated to all the people all over the world who drop things. How to make a beautiful flower arrangement. So much has been written about the art of arranging flowers that many women are afraid to let themselves go and really try it. Actually, with an understanding of a few simple basic elements, no one should have the least trouble in turning out really beautiful and unusual flower arrangements for her table. It's best to start with a simple, shallow dish of some kind, preferably one that will hold water. And it needn't be anything specially purchased. Any simple bowl or dish can be utilized, and its own form enhanced in the arrangement. If you can find one that has a definite character by reason of its shape or its texture, possibly something old or rough or bent, that would be the best thing. No, I wouldn't think a pizza pie pan would be just right, even if it is dented. There, that antique Meissen dish is just perfect. Now, place your flower holder in the dish and put in the first flower. See figure 1. No, leave it alone. This is the point at which the amateur gets timid. But of course, one mustn't quit at this stage. It only looks funny because it's just the beginning. Naturally, one flower standing there all by itself is going to look funny. Now, the next step is to select a second flower, and this time choose one or cut the stem to make it a little shorter than the first one, and place it quite close to the first. See figure 2. I think perhaps your trouble there is that you made the second one just a bit too short. Now don't worry about it. We're going to continue to fill in our design, which will be basically a spiral, and you'll see it'll be just right in the end. Leave it exactly as it is. And now, again, choose a flower a bit shorter than the first one. See figure 3. Well, don't worry about it. It isn't exactly what I meant, but it will be all right when the arrangement is finished. Now, I think you'll see what I mean. The arrangement so far is lacking in gracefulness. Oh, you do see. Good. Now, what you want to do next is to choose a flower with a very bendy stem, so the flower will droop gracefully and give some interest to our composition. If there isn't a flower whose stem bends nicely, take one and very gently run the stem through your fingers, bending it slightly along its entire length, and then place it in the flower holder, and then we'll step back and see how it looks and what our next step will be. See figure 4. That is perhaps just the least little bit too bendy. It may turn out to be the perfect touch to keep our arrangement from being a cliche in the end. Let's leave it and go on from there. Before adding any more flowers, we should start filling in the design and enriching it with a new element. You might now start adding some greens. What kind did you get? Oh, huckleberry leaves. That's very nice. All right, now, one at a time, add some smaller sprays of leaves, and then we'll step back and look at it again before we go on. See figure 5. I think, my dear, that perhaps you have not quite got the feel of this thing. Yes, I see that you did just what I told you, yet somehow your composition is lacking a certain something. I don't think that you chose the best possible spray of huckleberry leaves, and its placement doesn't add much to the lines of your composition. However, perhaps as we continue, the arrangement will take form. Let's not despair at this stage. I think it might be wise to leave that part alone for the moment and go on to a new element. There ought now to be added something to contrast, both in form and color, and also in idea. In other words, a surprise element, yet at the same time one that will blend beautifully with the already existing design. Here you must let your imagination run free. There is no telling what will be the perfect thing to accent and complement the whole. A bunch of grapes? Yes, that sounds very good. That might just do it. Place it close to the dish so it will become part of the composition and not just an extraneous object. See Figure 6. I can't quite put my finger on it, but somehow the image that came to my mind when you suggested a bunch of grapes was a bit different. Possibly I was thinking of a larger bunch. Actually, there don't seem to be too many grapes on that bunch, do there? Has something happened to that bunch of grapes, do you think? Yes, I see what you mean. The stems do have character. Well, we have a surprise element in form, but we still need to add something to add a note of color. You see, except for the flower heads themselves, everything is green. What we need now is something to add a brilliant accent of color. Something that's a screaming blue would be good, I think, or even a hot orange. What have you got around the house? Think now. That's unexpected. Perhaps something old would be interesting. And while you're thinking, I would just add another spray of huckleberry leaves, my dear. See Figure 7. Well, I'm not sure what to say. I had in mind something like an old bit of Chinese carving or an uncut lapis lazuli or a group of Christmas tree ornaments. Yes, I see that the toothbrush is bright blue, and I can see that it's old, and I'll admit it's unexpected, yet at the same time I don't feel it as part of the composition. It just doesn't look artistic to me, if you must know. By the way, I wonder if you notice that there seems to be a small crack in your Meissen dish. Yes, there is. All the water is running out. On the whole, I wonder if you wouldn't be better off to put just a bowl of fruit in the center of the table. Some other bowl, I think. And we can make our flower arrangement another day. End of short story. Hope you liked it. Have a nice afternoon.